Hello, everyone. Here is Larisa Gabu, and welcome to a new broadcast with a wonderful lady, a sister, and an inspirator, and entrepreneur, and she's a queen. In fact, I know we are all queen, but there are women that when I meet, I'm really honored. I know that because when I speak with her, to be honest with you, I feel like just taking a pen and start writing. Welcome, welcome, sister.
Thank you. That was such a great introduction. Thank you so much. I've never heard anybody say they would like to have a pen and paper and start, putting down my words, but that means so much to me, believe me.
You're welcome. I really mean it because I remember last time we spoke, it was almost 2 hours and I couldn't stop listening to you. And I was just like drinking and receiving. I'm like, wow, you are such an inspiration. And I know that everyone watching tonight or this morning, they're going to be blessed. And that's why today I said, I don't want to limit our time. We're not going to think about time because I want to really that you will give something to these women here in Norway, watching around the world. I am Larisa Gabu, originally from Cameroon, have lived in Norway soon 16 years, and I'm Miss Norway. And I have the honor to host a wonderful lady, a coach, an entrepreneur, an author. Please, dear, present yourself because I
Well,
don't
my
know
name
what
is,
to say and what not to say.
I'll take care of that for you. My name is Katrina Spagnoletti, and I am the former Mrs. Florida American 2020. I am also the International Beauty Queen, Mrs. Queen of the World 2021. I am also an author, empowerment speaker. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a wife, and there's so much more to me, and you're going to learn all about me with this wonderful lady right here. I can't wait to share all of the things, all of my journey that I've been through, all of my life. I mean, it's been a crazy life, but it's been a great life.
You are so energetic and you're always happy. And I just want to ask you, what are your greatest secret of remaining so young and always happy every day?
Well, I think it's this. I purposely, put myself in that space because a lot of people don't understand how to do that, especially coming from childhood trauma the way that I did. And just to let you know before we go on, to get to the whole happiness thing, people like me, we shouldn't be the people that we are. We shouldn't be the ones that are out there motivating and the ones out there who are happy all the time, because coming from childhood trauma, I know the days when I wasn't happy. I know the days that I was trying to find my happiness and I just could not find that happiness. And I remember doing an article once, and someone had said to me, what can you tell us that will be a surprise to other people who know you? I live with depression. And I think that would be like a surprise to so many people because I am always up. But I understand what it's like to get out of depression. I wrote a book, I'm an author, What My Mother Never Knew. Here's my book right there, but here's my book right here, What My Mother Never Knew.
Yeah.
I was being abused by my stepfather and my uncle for years. And I think when I started getting into my late 40s, going through the relationships that I went through, being a mom, understanding the fact that it was a very toxic life,
Mhm.
that I decided that I wanted to try to find a way to be mentally healthy, because I knew I wasn't healthy because I was so sad and so depressed.
Yeah.
And I was giving all that to my children and my relationships and of course myself. So I needed to understand, how do you get out of this? How do you be happy? How do you become happy? And I remember one part of my healing was going to therapy. And I will never forget this. I walked into the therapist's office and I sat down in his chair and he had said to me, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And I immediately said to him, "I have everything that a woman would ever want, except for I'm not happy. And I just want to be happy," because I couldn't understand how to find my happiness. And I discovered that everything that I went through as a child, that's the thing that took away my happiness. And it will strip you of everything. So that was probably one of the biggest attributes to me understanding how to be happy, because it doesn't come naturally for me. It's something that I had to create a habit and to understand how, if I had those really hard days of depression, how do I become happy? And I know exactly how to do it now.
Wow, this is powerful. Uh, I when we studied psychology about Sigmund Freud, he said children are the adult of tomorrow, and when a
Mhm.
child is molested or have been destroyed or went through that type of things, so it's very difficult to that child to
Very
survive.
difficult.
But
Very
when you
difficult.
are a destiny child, as we usually say, you became a
No,
miracle because what you're seeing now make you a miracle in itself. And here, in Norway, there's a lot of depression. The rate of depression and suicide in Norway, in Scandinavian countries, are really high because of the weather, anyway, many people know about it. And what you mentioned about depression, I've been also depressed. I started getting depressed only in Norway my whole life. As I grown up in Africa, I used to think depression was just something they just said. I couldn't even figure out. But I became depressed also in Norway, and I remember that I didn't know what to do. I was just getting sad and sad out of nothing. And when I started like learning how to come out of it, I was just like, my God, this is serious. It's not something to joke with it. So
no.
listening to you who have been through that and being a mom and have given so much to the community, and at the age of I don't know, you are 58 or
I'm
57.
58, 58,
Yes.
and then exactly, let's see, what's today, 39? In 4 days, 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be 59 years old.
Wonderful. You don't look 58 or 59. Not at
Thank
all. And even if you tell that you had a hardship in life, no one will believe
you.
it. So everything about is happiness, glorious, joyful, and you probably develop it in years. And I think many people, many women, also married women or unmarried women, people, young girls are going through things. And when they listen to you, like you've been through that and you survive, and today you are a grandmom, a wife, and you are Noto and queen, or really, you are a miracle. And yes, about your book, what did you write in your book that is really was like you want to say something about it?
Well, my book came about. I've been wanting to write a book for probably about 20 years, but every time I dove into the words and had to go back into my memory, it
Mhm,
was very, very depressing. It was overwhelming, and I just couldn't do it.
mhm,
Just to let you know, I did go to therapy for my stepfather. I didn't go to therapy for my uncle, and I was 5 years old when he molested me.
mhm,
And the mind is such a powerful thing. It could just really protect you at those moments when you need protection. And
mhm,
I went through life thinking that it was just a dream, because people have to understand, you're a child, your mind is not developed enough to understand what is going on with you.
mhm,
But when I was 55 years old, I went back to Virginia because I live in Florida now. I went back to Virginia and I went to visit my grandson. And I remember sitting in a car with my mom, and she told me the story of how this same uncle was caught molesting one of my cousins. And at that point, I thought that I had worked myself through all of the issues that I had. But that right there made me so angry. And I'm going to tell you, the next day I drove 12 hours back home from Virginia to Florida. And that was the first time I was able to actually sit down with anyone, and it was my husband. And I told him everything. Everything. I've never done that before. People knew that I was in a situation and that I was molested, but they didn't know the
mhm,
full story. And the thing about people who have gone through traumas like that, when they're ready to tell you, they will tell you. You can't force them to tell you. I was ready to
exactly.
tell my story at 55 years old. And then I decided I don't want anybody else to be to turn 55 and just spend their whole entire life depressed, angry, confused. I didn't want that. So I figured, wait, if I use my voice and I start telling my story, I think it could help a lot of people. Plus, I was preparing to compete for Mrs. Florida America. And during that, it was COVID in 2020, 2019
Yeah.
and 2020. And we couldn't make appearances or anything. Zoom was just coming out. But I said to myself, this is something that I could really, it was my platform, Voices, which educates people on how to use their voice in order to heal childhood trauma. But to go into the judge's room and have a book to finally, and it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done because, again, I had to revisit those two little children, that 5-year-old and that 15-year-old who were being abused, and it felt like, and a lot of people don't understand the word trigger. It felt like every time I wrote their story and my story, I was triggered because I felt like I was in that moment, and that's what a trigger is. So, of course, being an adult now, I can prepare myself a little better with those feelings. And it was a difficult thing, but I owe those two little girls my life. At 15 years old, I tried to commit suicide, and because I didn't know how to get out of this thing called being abused. I couldn't understand, and I open up whenever I speak to an audience. Would open up with the story of how I was 15 years old, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't deal with that life. I didn't understand that I had a powerful voice that I never used, and it continued to go on and go on. And one day I went into my mother's medicine cabinet and I took the remaining pills that were in a bottle. But the next day I woke up and I was very angry. I didn't understand why.
You
Why
did
me? I
that.
was a good kid. I was a good person. Why was the universe bringing this into my life? Why did I deserve this? But honey, in the same breath, I had a premonition. I had this dream, like it was like I was right there in it, that I was wearing a red dress and I was speaking to an audience. I had no clue why I was in front of an audience and what I was talking about. But girl, let me tell you something. It gave me a goal because at 15, I thought I was going to be famous. I thought that meant, oh, I'm going to be famous. And
That
I would
was a
even tell
vision,
my husband,
actually.
I would tell my kids that I'm going to be famous because I had this premonition. I was in a red suit and I was talking to an audience. So that meant I'm going to be famous. So that created a goal, which was something really great because people who deal
Awesome.
with things like that, you always have to have a goal. You have to have something to look for, or you fall into that depression. You constantly have to be busy.
It's true.
So, yeah, when I was 55 years old, Mrs. Hillsborough County, I went in to judges room September 5th, 2020, and I walked into that room with this red dress, and I hated the color red, and when I hated it because it was a trigger to
Oh,
that day.
okay.
Yes, remember that.
I
So
remember.
I walked into the judges room with this red dress on, and I heard this voice say, "Oh my goodness, I love that red dress." It was one of the judges. His name is Randy Jones, and he is the founder of the Village People. And
Wow.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, I felt so good by the choice that I made. Even though I hated that color, I just felt something, that color meant something." As I walked in that room and I stood in that red dress and I spoke to those judges, I'm gonna tell you, I spoke about this book and everything that happened to me and how I healed from it. And that day I was crowned Mrs. Florida American 2020.
Wonderful. Awesome.
I mean, it was an amazing time, but I still didn't understand that premonition, that was the day that premonition happened. 3 months later, I was sitting in silence and I was like, oh my goodness, that was that red suit moment. And that premonition was telling me this, that you need to use your voice
Yeah.
so
You
that
had a
other
future.
people,
You had a greater future. That was why
yeah.
you had a vision, and it kept you living, giving you strength. Awesome, beautiful story.
I mean, it's something that I hold on to so dearly
Mm,
because I mean, I truly believe that we all have a purpose in life and we can see it, whether it's through a premonition, a dream, our passion, or other people. We all have a purpose in life. I did not know pageantry was part of my purpose. Girl, I was 53 years old when I first started competing. And I
wow.
was like, what? My first pageant, I got second runner up. I couldn't even believe that. And then I came to Florida at 56 and I won Mrs. Florida American. You would have never told me that I would actually be a queen. That was something I was not brought up. And that was something that, as a Black girl, that we never really thought that we could win. And I won at 56 years old.
Oh,
So my plight is this: whenever I hear somebody tell me that they can't, I'm gonna let them know, honey, let me tell you right now, all the odds were against your girl. But
thank
guess what? She did it. She did it. And it is still alive in me today. Pageantry is everything. That's why I have my pageant page, Mrs. Pageant Worldwide Report, because I want to continue to motivate other women and see that, yes, you can do this.
you.
You have the power to win. You
Exactly.
really do, because pageantry is everything to me.
Awesome. It's so encouraging, very much encouraging. I'm just been like 2 years in the pageant world and it's just changed my life, shaped me.
It
And
really,
I'm so happy. And as we're talking together the other day, just being among queens, we encouraging one another, sharing love, sisterhood, my life have changed a lot. And I want to see also other ladies, other sisters
yeah.
experience this. We all have a story, but your story, it is a big story, sister. And yes, definitely, I would like to buy the book also. And I know you are on it. I know that book now. What's the title of the next book?
The next book, we don't have a title yet. We're
Oh,
working on something because this book is all about what happened to me and how I healed.
mhm,
I really want my other book to be about really getting women to understand, because a lot of us are lost. A lot, because I didn't even understand the things that I was doing to make myself a better woman
mhm,
were things that were healing me. I had no clue. At 35 years old, I was a single mom of three boys. And
mhm,
I woke up on my 35th birthday and I said to myself, because you have to take some of the blame for your circumstances. It's just not the other person.
mhm,
There's two people in that marriage, two people, and my marriages just weren't working, and I was picking the wrong people. And I said to myself, I just really had to have a long look and listen to my own self and say, I want to be a better woman. That's how it all started. I just want to be a better woman. And
exactly.
for myself, not for anyone else, but for myself, because
Mhm,
if you're a good woman for yourself, it's the domino effect. Everyone's going to benefit from it.
mhm,
So I started diving into religion. And I wanted to find a faith that was all about kindness and goodness and loving people and just being a good person,
yeah.
just helping your community. And I discovered that faith, and I love the faith that I have. It's all about love. It's all about love. But then, that doesn't heal you. Faith doesn't always heal you. You need other tools. When I went to therapy, I was forced to answer the questions that I never wanted to answer. I didn't even know I had to answer these questions of,
Mhm,
why aren't you happy? Why are you picking the relationships you're picking? Why are you going from 1 to 10 in a 0.01 second?
mhm.
Why are you so afraid of living? Why do you continue to live the life that you're living? Those are things I had to face, because we don't go around in the world every day waking up going, why am I living this horrible
No,
life?
never. I've never thought about that. Never.
Yeah. Yeah. But we have to ask ourselves questions, and that's what my next book is going to be about. We need to ask ourselves why, because in pageantry, we have a why. Why
Yeah.
not have that why in your life, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
And every day ask yourself, why do you want this? Why do you want the career that you want? Why are you stuck in a career that you don't want? Why are you feeling this way towards other people. Why are you in a bad relationship? So maybe it'll be called Why, a Queen's Why. But I was forced to
That would be a funny
answer my.
title, but it would caught their attention, I think so. And the why could be very big, big character.
Yeah.
Why? It would be like, what? Queen, why?
But pageantry did a lot to heal me as well, because at that point I wrote a book so I can impress the judges, right? But in writing that book, I had to force myself in an uncomfortable space, and
Mm,
it built strength in me to
yeah.
tell my story. Because at first it was very difficult because I didn't want to keep coming back to the same thing. So
Mm-mm.
it forced me to do that, and that was a great thing for me to do. But also, it forced me to be more organized with my life, because you cannot go and compete without being organized with your life.
That's
It
true.
gave me the ability to understand how to speak better, how to speak with more with
Confidence.
yes, confidence, and
Mhm.
be really sure of myself. In judging, a lot of coaches will say you win when you're authentic. I had to find the authentic me.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is a lot of self-love and a lot of self-care, because the authentic me was not always a good thing.
Of course. No,
So I
no
had to
one is
discover the
perfect.
authentic me. And I
Yeah,
had to understand how to connect with the feelings of now.
mm,
Like, if I'm upset, why am I upset? You
exactly.
know, if I'm angry at someone, why am I angry at that person?
Wow.
Yeah,
We usually don't think about this question.
no, but you know what? When you're at that healthy point, you're
Mm,
always asking yourself why. Because you have to be in the now. It teaches you how to be in the now. Because
mhm.
I can't control the past. It's already done. And I
Exactly.
sure can't control the future. The
Mm,
only thing that I can control is what right now, the things I say to you, the place that I'm in,
yeah,
physically, mentally, that is the only thing we have control over. And when we
exactly.
discover that we only have control over the now and not anyone else, but we also have control over the way that we feel and the way that we treat people. And I really think that pageantry has helped me treat people better, understand who I truly am, be
Mm,
confident enough to walk into a room and say, hey, I'm the one for the job. I am the queen. And I'm 56 years old with these beautiful women
young
behind me.
kid.
And I'm like, wait a minute, judges, did you make a mistake? Because did you see what I walked in front of? Do you see these people clapping for me when they placed the crown on my head? Like, that's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I remember when I won, I didn't even sleep that night. I didn't
You
sleep because the
you thought you were in
adrenaline.
a dream. You didn't want to wake up.
Girl, I was like, oh no, I need to enjoy this feeling. But it's an amazing feeling. And even today, I
Mm,
still have people who want to know who I am because I was a queen. If anyone tells you, when they say forever queen, it's not just a forever queen to you because you're my queen sister. I
mm,
am a forever queen. People are going to always know, because even when I don't tell them, they
mm.
go right on that social media page. The next time they see me, they're like, okay, this girl was a queen. Like, she was Mrs. Florida American. That holds so much weight. It
Yes,
really does. And it brings
true.
people into your life that you never thought that would come into your life. And it's an amazing journey. It
It,
really is.
it is awesome, wonderful. It is I'm telling you, listening to you, I just get carried. I even forget I have to ask you the next question. I was telling you, this is just a conversation, and wow, 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 what you just said now, and about your book, your upcoming book about the why.
Mhm.
Yes, I usually don't ask myself why. I ask sometimes for some things, but I've learned something tonight about the why. And are you going to compete again?
Oh no. People ask me that all the time, and I love that. I honestly, honestly love that people ask me that, because it's like, okay, so I guess I'm still in my prime, that people
Yes.
really believe that I can compete and win. There's this amazing coach. She is actually a reigning queen now, Wendy Russo. I don't know if you've ever heard. If
Yes,
you've
I've
never
heard
heard
of
of
it.
Wendy Russo in the pageant world, then you are not in the pageant. The girl is dynamic. She's
Yes.
amazing. And
Mhm.
I will tell you, she wants to crown me so bad. And I love women like that are so strong and powerful and so knowledgeable about what a true queen is. I love the fact that she wants to be like, yeah, girl, I want to crown you. But I love the fact that I'm actually being asked that question, but I don't won't do it. And sometimes I do get the bug because it's such a dynamic place to be. But having my page, that's everything to me. Supporting is everything to me. It's
Giving.
so much more satisfying to me than actually wearing a crown. And that's not a bad thing. This is what pageantry does for you. At
Yes.
helping other women, having people come into my DMs or message me about what do I do? What do I wear? What do you think of this? They send me their videos to ask, uh, you know, is this a great interview? Am I a great interview? Can you give me your feedback? I had a wonderful friend who sent me. I do mock interviews as well. I'm on a panel where I do mock interviews. I judge. I
Mhm.
judge a lot, and I love judging pageants. My goal is to judge the Miss Universe pageant. That is
Wow,
like
you're
my
gonna do it. You're
goal.
gonna do it. I believe so. It's
But
gonna
I
happen.
love changing. I love changing a young lady or a woman's life because I know what pageantry does. And I know that it will change you. But I must say, you have to do it right. You have
Exactly.
to do it right.
It's true. It's true. You know, you said something about your page, and that's why you feel like giving to others, helping. You feel more like it's more worth than the crown. It's true that in pageantry, we all have different goals, and the most important thing is to find the right goal for yourself. Like me, I went and compete, but after the competition, I feel like I won because I won with myself. I won with what was a challenge for me to come out of my comfort zone. It was my first time to visit US this year. I traveled with my kids, and it was a life experience that I want to do again. I know I'm going to compete again. And I feel just feeling like, okay, let me just go and get prepared and do it right. Like,
Mhm. I
and
mean, when you have that attitude, you are definitely a winner. There's no doubt about it. Some women don't compete for that aspect. They compete for different reasons, but judges can see through that. I can tell you that right now. I've judged so many pageants. I've judged in the Miss America system, and I'm not talking misses. We're talking Miss America, and
wow.
I see what they do. I've also judged, and I have some great judging coming up, which I can't wait to share with everyone, but I can't talk about it because I'm a judge. But I love judging Mrs. Pageants because these women are so dynamic. And I
Yeah.
truly believe that it is, I love my Mrs. Queens. I see everything that they give to their community. And
Mhm.
we don't have a huge organization handing those appearances to us.
Mhm.
We have to do this ourselves. We do have directors that will come in and help, but
Mhm.
we do this ourselves. It teaches you how to market yourself. It teaches you
Mhm.
how to create a brand. Pageantry
Exactly.
teaches you how to get out and sell who you are. Because basically, when you go into the judges' room, you have to sell you.
Yes. You have to sell yourself. You are there to get good character and to win.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
just I remember the feeling like when I was waiting outside, I was just like, yes, I was just so focused on it. It was just like standing in front of a goal and have to shoot a penalty. I was just like, and when they opened the door, I just was just so
Great, I love
confident, enter and was like, I'm coming to just make an impact. And I just say, wow. After I was like, wow, that was amazing. You know, there are things we have to experience, even though we hear
Yeah.
about it, see, watch, experiencing the pageantry is life changing. Really.
It is. It really is. It really is. And I think the first time is pretty scary because I remember going into the Mrs. Virginia America
Mm.
pageant. That was the first one I ever did, and I didn't win that one, but I was second runner up. And I was like, are they going to ask me something like political, or are they going to ask me something that I just will like choke on? Girl, I went into that room and it was like talking to seven, because we had seven judges,
Mm.
talking to seven friends who I just met. It was an amazing experience. But
Wow.
then I went to Florida and I had five judges, and it was like, it was more of, it wasn't more of like friends because they were very serious.
Serious.
They were very serious. But it was like educating people on my life. And
Mm,
it felt good to be able to see these five prestigious people who have gone through their own lives,
mhm,
built this amazing career, want to know about me. And that's the thing we have to go in there with. You
mhm,
know, one interview that I did on my pageant page, I had said the best way to win a pageant, an interview, is to take the community that you work with, that built you to be the person that you are when you go into, pack them up, make them a hat, make them a dress, whatever, and bring your community with you because they're the ones that the judge want to hear about. They want to hear those stories of
mm.
how you were in your community, because that right there creates relatability, and it creates a sense of, yeah, she's willing to work hard for others, and she really believes in her community, and she believes in herself enough to say, hey, I'm going to be out there with them and I want to guide them as a leader.
Wow.
That's a winning queen right there.
Mm. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful. And I came again to US for the Global Beauty Award.
Oh my
I went
goodness, you're so
twice this year and it was amazing. I've heard that you're coming next year. I really hope to see you.
I I am. I've been wanting to go to the Global Beauty Awards for a couple of years. When Jennifer Lloyd, Mrs. World, you actually
Yeah.
interviewed that beautiful soul and beautiful person and beautiful woman. When she asked, I was not prepared because I know when I go to the Global Beauty Awards, girl, it's gonna be on.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see you there.
It's going to be on.
You love it.
We're gonna have so much fun. I mean,
Yeah,
the
we will.
beauty that's there,
Mm.
the glitz, the glamour, the dresses, that should be like the epicenter of all of us queens being. And I told you this on our
Mhm.
pre-interview. All of us should go there. That should be like, we should adopt that as like the queen's party, the
Yes.
annual, and just fill it with every beautiful queen that exists on this earth. I
I
mean,
love the way you said it, the beauty party, because
Mhm.
when I was there, I feel like we have a lot of program and the time appear a little bit short because in between the programs, we were just talking, taking picture. We were more busy about ourselves than what was going on, and it was my God, I wasn't sad. I wanted to stay there longer. And what you just said, let it be like that time just for us having fun, party.
And
And
connect with each other, because we see each other on social media and we
mhm,
see us with all the hard work we do.
yes,
And to sit down with women who have that much knowledge about community and their platforms, that would be such an incredible weekend. And
yes,
that is what I'm looking forward to. I love the fact that we can wear gowns and, have great dinners, do all of that. But what I really want to do is I want to take a gift of knowledge away, and
mm,
I want to give a gift of knowledge as well, because that's something that's going to last for
yeah,
a lifetime, and it will help me to better make my page, my Mrs. Pageant Worldwide Report page, a lot better, because I love interviewing queens. And if anybody were to ask me, has that always been your favorite thing? No, no, because
wow,
I was stuck on that thing of, oh my goodness, I've got all these incredible queens here that I've got to impress. Like, these women think that
yeah,
it's like, okay, we've got to impress the pageant pages, the pageant. No, we got to impress y'all. We gotta make y'all want to come and
Yeah,
look at our page. Like,
exactly.
I
It's
don't even look at like, okay, you guys, you're glad to have me post you. No, I'm glad that you allow me to
Mm,
do my job. Like
exactly.
that feels incredible. I was talking to a former
Mhm.
Mrs. California American the
Mhm.
other day, and she was saying how she's so proud of me for the fact that I continuously stay in the pageant field and I support so many women. And I'm so at a point that it's like it doesn't matter what your platform is, what your
Mhm.
political views are. If you're out there in the community,
Mhm.
you're an amazing person. It doesn't matter. And I am so honored to be able to sit there and interview you. Like that means everything to me. And then some are just like, I'm honored to be interviewed. Honey, sweetheart, you're the reason I have this page. No, please, I couldn't have this page. And every time I do my lives, I make sure that I let them know that I appreciate it, because if it wasn't for these dynamic women
Exactly.
put
Exactly.
their hat in the ring to compete, I wouldn't have a page. I wouldn't be able to look on this page every day, study these amazing queens,
Mm.
and continue to heal, because I know there's so much good. Like,
Yeah.
you can watch the news all you want to, what is going on in this world. It's unfortunate that we don't put more women up there who
Yeah.
are positive on the news, but people will be really surprised how much good is out there, but we don't get to be showcased.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm there to showcase you. We
Yeah.
have an incredible world here, especially an incredible world of pageantry. And
Yes.
women like you, who continues to motivate, and you get to meet women who are on your show because we believe in you.
Yes.
We believe in
It's
you. You
true.
have to understand
It's
that.
true.
We honestly believe
I just said, like, I feel like the pageantry helped me to find myself, because
in
I've been on the television for years before joining the pageantry.
Mhm.
And I was known in Norway for something else. But when I joined the pageantry, I have friends who ask me, I don't know what is happening to your pages. Everything is just changing, crown, miss, and what's happening?
It'd be great.
And being a celebrity before, I have a
Mhm.
platform, I'm a singer, and I've been in several television before. And then suddenly everything, I remove everything. I'm just pageantry, miss. I have friends who have been saying, please, can you start interviewing normal people like before? You'll not be interviewing medical. I used to interview medical doctor, entrepreneurs out of the pageantry. But now I'm just like focusing only on the Miss, Miss, and Mrs. And I focus most on those who have stories, those who have something. I feel like I've received so much. So I just want to say I love this word of pageantry. It's sisterhood, it's something
Great.
natural, something. We are not perfect, but we want to see everybody shining, and that's what means a
Yeah.
lot. And
'Cause-
like when we're talking now, I'm just saying that I'm going to be sending you a missus. I'm going to be sending you missus. When I meet a lady and I feel like she should have to come on your show, I'm going to send her to you. And the videos, your videos, actually, I was waiting for this time because I'm going to use it a lot. I'm
Okay.
going to organize my own beauty pageant very
I
soon
think
this
that's
year,
great.
actually. But it will be under my NGO, because I have an NGO called Beautiful Inside Out, which
Okay.
was before fighting against loneliness and depression. And we
Okay.
had several women conferences before. I had conferences here before I joined the pageantry. So when I joined the pageantry, many of them were surprised, like, have you always been in the pageantry, and what is happening to you? So I have a network of women very curious about all this pageantry. And interviewing, for me, I love Norway. I'm originally from Cameroon. I love my country. I was Miss Cameroon World, but now I represent Norway as Miss Norway. And I live in Norway. I have my children here, and I'm Norwegian. And what I want is to bring this pageantry spirit, this sisterhood, the way pageantry have changed me. I want to see many women here be impacted. Norway is not that implicated in pageantry like America. Is still new here. We have the Miss Norway, Miss Universe Norway, but that's it, nothing more. But all these pageant queens which are above 35, and it doesn't exist in Norway. So when I represented Norway, I attracted a lot of curiosity, and people were like, "What's going on here?" And most of them were not reading Maze. They taught Miss. They said, "But Larisa, you are above. You are 40 something, and what's happening here? Is there two Miss Norway?" I said, "No, that one is Miss, and this one is Maze, and this one is Pageant, and this one is all sisters." I'm like, so a lot of people here have eyes on my show, and they have been listening. We're like, whoa, this is amazing. I know that many women knew about the pageantry, but they have not seen a Norwegian woman go and represent and came back and interviewing ladies. Norwegian people are not used to that. I've never seen that, no television. And this is really something that I take very, very seriously, because many women are going to watch it, and it's going to encourage and also will help me to probably get women in my pageant competition. And my pageant competition will be in my NGO. I want to help women to build up their self-esteem, women and men. My desire, what drives me is to see people be restored, women be restored. And I'm not thinking too much about the business side now, but I'm going to do it in my own NGO to give possibility to many women, not only Norwegian, but international, which living here to join. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing, sister. I just needed to say these things, so you know that what you're saying here is so valuable, and I'm as we used to say in Africa, in a plate. And I know it's going to bless a lot of women, especially women above 50.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually had women who never did pageants before and thought they were too old to do them because they saw me do it. They saw me win. But even when they didn't see me win, it like just seeing like because Mrs. Virginia America was my first one. Even though I came out second runner up, I think it surprised a lot of people, even my family, because I compete against women 30 years my junior, 20 years my junior, like 10 years my junior. And I walk out and I'm just like, I just can't, I can't believe that I just did what I did. And it really motivated a lot of women. And they were like, yeah, I can do this. If Katrina can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly what I want. I want to show women that they can do this. And the thing about Florida, when I won Florida, it was incredible because out of the, I don't know, 30 some years, almost 40 years of having the Mrs. Florida America pageant, no Black woman has ever been crowned. And I was the first Black woman to ever be crowned on that stage. And I was like, wow, this is pretty historical. And I didn't even realize it. My husband realized it. I didn't realize it. He told me that, and I was like, you're absolutely right. I was the first Black woman to ever be crowned, and I was the oldest woman at the time to ever be crowned. And I'm so proud.
It was your time, and it was your crown.
But honey, I went in there with my answers blazing. Like I replay that all over again so many times, and I know how I walked into that room. I wanted this so that I can have a voice for people who don't have a voice, and that's so important. And to have Jackie Siegel as my director was and still is the most amazing things because she is a very strong woman. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's actually is she's a former Mrs. Florida America, and she owns like 22 hotels around the world, as well as other things around the world. And her daughter, she overdosed. She overdosed at 18 years old, and she has a foundation called Victoria's Voice where they raise money in order to stop the opioid epidemic that's in this country.
Mm.
And to know her is so dynamic. She is a reality TV star. She had her own TV show on HBO and Disney Plus about this 95,000 square foot mansion that for some reason is impossible to finish. So she had this beautiful show. Now she has a Broadway production show out there on Broadway about her life. That's my director. And she's
Wow.
so giving and such a good person. And she inspires me every single day. I love being able to go back to see her. She's amazing. She really is. So to be inspiring is great, but to be inspired is amazing. I
Yeah.
love being inspired by so many different people
Yeah.
like you, like Jackie, like my queen sisters, like I mean, one of the girls who really inspires me is Brianna Derrick. That young lady is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. For her to be as young as she is and as powerful as she is it's amazing. It really is. I had an opportunity to actually interview her and learn more about her. And
Yeah.
she's beautiful on the outside, but she is dynamic on the inside. I'm telling you.
Awesome. You know what? This is wonderful, wonderful. And it's so encouraging. As I'm telling you, I'm just listening to you and I've been so blessed. And yes, what would you want to say again to the younger generation, younger? When I mean younger, it's like teen, because these days the teen have been like so discouraged about everything. It seems as if
Yeah.
they don't have a future. And yes, what would you say to the young? I love kid, I love teen. I've been working with children, and I would love you to like you to say something to the young generation.
Well, I definitely would like to say stay patient. You're in a world where it's so fast right now. Everything is just going a billion miles an hour. Just be patient because you have a purpose out there. I was 15 before, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget that dark day. But if I didn't go through that dark day and realize that I did have a purpose, then I don't know. I don't know who I would be today. I don't know if I would be so fearless because I am fearless now. Everything that comes your way is a lesson. It's all a lesson to bring you to where you need to be. Pay attention to that lesson because that lesson is very, very powerful. And sometimes you might be going through darkness,
Yeah.
but let me tell you something, that darkness is a lesson. Everything is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to just find yourself and don't follow the crowd and don't go on social media and think that anyone's better than you because you are unique and you're amazing.
Wow.
No one can be who you are. It's
Thank you.
just like in pageantry, we don't have competition. What we are our own competition. And if you can compete to be the best you are the winner. Life is just amazing. And the older you get, the more you're going to look back at your life and be like, what was I thinking? You're a dynamic person. And if you follow the right path and you're authentic with yourself, you are going to find that glory inside of you. And that's what I would tell her. Be patient, though. You have to be patient.
Thank you. Thank you. We have to be patient. Thank you, dear
Yeah.
sister, for coming. You're so beautiful. And I am just 44 years now. I feel very young when you start speaking.
So do
Before
I, girl.
talking with
So
you,
do, so do I, girl.
yeah, before I spoke with you, I was feeling like it's too late for me for many things. But when I spoke with you, I would just feel like, okay, and it's so energized. I was like, the same way you said, many of these young ladies say, what? She won. I'm feeling now like a lot of things I was just like putting aside, they just came back in my mind. I'm like, Larisa, be patient. Be patient. And I want you outside there watching to be patient. So thank you so much. And I'm going to order your book for sure. And I would love to welcome you again, probably for a conference, because I'm just feeling like this is too
Absolutely. I would
much.
love
I need to gather more women, not just an interview, just women. And then we will have like a virtual conference. And maybe you come to Norway for a conference. I just
I
love
would
you.
love to
And
come to Norway. That would be so awesome. Hearing all the great things that you say about it, it's an adventure. Like I would love to do that one day. But
uh,
you have, honey, you have a list of women already. These women that you have interviewed are incredible. And these are some giving hearts. And I know them personally. And I know that if you continue to do what you're doing now, and you do it in the way that you continue to do and do it in even more growth, they'll be there for you. Because when we believe in something, especially as a queen, when
yeah.
we believe in someone, that person has our hearts for the rest of their lives. And you've got
Oh,
some amazing women that you've interviewed. Make
thank
sure that you let those women know that you would love for them to be there, and they will be
Yeah,
there for
some of them have said already, so they are
you.
planning next year, and it's going to be awesome. And I thank God for the media, because we can also, before it happened, have virtual conferences. I used to do that, but in another, not in the pageantry, like
Yeah,
connecting women all around the world and getting men speakers.
I
Sometimes
love it.
today is not a distance, so it's just like finding the correct way. And some of them have been on my show twice, like Jennifer, she's been on my show twice, and other people. But thank you so much. This goes straight to
Thank you.
my heart. It's very important to get that encouragement, to know that what we are doing an impact, and this is more, it means everything. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
We stay. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.